So today we will discuss about task or scheduling activity. Okay, so how basically you can schedule a specific activity in Snowflake, that we will be discussing today. Okay, now task. What is task? Task is nothing but like it's a database object in Snowflake. Whenever we create a task, it will be created inside the database, inside the schema. Okay, now how whenever I'll show you the create task privilege, so that basically the task generally will be created inside the database, inside the schema, and that's the reason we call this task as a database object. Why this task will be utilized? To schedule something. Okay, so let's say for an example, every night you want to truncate some table. Let's say you want to refresh some table, you can do by using task. Let's say every day at some specific time you want to load some data, you can do through the task. Let's say every day you want to update some value to a table, you can do through the task. So if anything is there which you wants to automate, or basically you wants to remove the manual activity and you just wanted to automate something, so you can do through the task. Task is a kind of event which will be basically fired, or which will be basically execute at a specific time. So basically whenever it will be whatever schedule you will be mentioning, according to that this task will be fired, and whatever you will be writing as a definition of the task, that will be executed. Two thing can be executed through the task. One is a SQL statement. Okay, a SQL statement that can be anything like insert, update, delete, alter, drop, so refresh, anything, any type of activity that is actually any type of SQL statement, it will be executed through the task. That is one thing. And second thing, it can call a entire procedure in Snowflake. So if you have written a procedure in Snowflake, that can be called through the task also. Okay. So this is the two type of statement you can call through the task. One is the entire SQL statement. So individual SQL statement, let's say you have an insert statement, or you have an update statement, you have a merge statement, you have a delete statement. So that type of SQL statement you can execute. Or otherwise, let's say you have written a procedure, inside the procedure a lot of SQL statement is there, and you have written a procedure, and that procedure you can execute through the task. So these two things you can do through the task. Okay, so one is SQL statement, another one is procedure calling. Okay, so whenever the task will be executed, that means let's say for an example, you have scheduled your task at 2 o'clock in the night. So what will happen at 2 o'clock? The task event will basically fired, and task will be triggered at 2 o'clock. And whenever it will be triggered, generally, as the underlying definition of the task, either you have written a SQL statement or you have written a procedure that will be executed. So that is how it will be working. So another thing is there are two type of task is there. One is standalone task, Another one is tree shaped task. Okay, or you can call it as a tree task. So standalone task is nothing but the task which is a single task that is not dependent on anything, or no task is dependent on that task also. So basically it's a single task, no dependency, nothing, only simple, a single task. That is what we call standalone task. It will be executed anonymously. It will be executing independently. No dependency is there, nothing. So that is what we call standalone task. Another type of task is there, that is what we call tree task. Tree task is nothing but it will looks like this way. So it will be basically in a tree shape. Okay. So for an example, let's say this is the root task. So task A is the root task here. Now task A have two child. Let's say task B and task C. Similarly, task B is having 3 child. One is D, E, F, and C is having 2 child, G and H, like that. So here, what happens whenever so basically whenever we are in a tree-shaped task, so basically what we do, we schedule the root task. So for an example, let's say root task has been scheduled at 2 o'clock at night. Okay. Now, whenever a tree-shaped task, basically the entire tree will not schedule. Let's say in that tree you have 10 tasks is there. Okay, let's say 10 to 20. Let's say 20 tasks are there in the entire tree. So now entire trees, all tasks will not be scheduled. Only the root task will be scheduled. Okay. Once the root task is completed successfully, that means task A is completed successfully, then B and C will start. Okay. And whenever B will be completed successfully, then D, E, F will start. Okay. And when C will be completed successfully, then G and H will be started. Okay. So in between, let's say B did not complete it successfully, then D, E, F will not start. Okay. So any root task is, or any parent task is not completed, then the child will not start. So that is how it works. So basically, if A does not complete it, then B and C will not start. If B did not complete it successfully, then D, E, F will not start. And similarly, if C did not complete it successfully, then G and H will not start. So to complete the next level, you have to first successfully execute the parent of the task. Okay. So A is the parent of B and C, and similarly B is the parent of D, E, F, and C is the parent of G and H, like that. Okay. So this is what we call tree-shaped task. Remember, one parent can have maximum 100 child tasks. One parent can have maximum 100 child tasks, not more than that. Like A is having 2 child tasks. Here you can see B and C. Like A can have more 98 child tasks also. In Snowflake, a parent can have maximum 100 child tasks, not more than that. Okay, so that is how it works. So this is what we call tree task. So now, and so what is standalone task? Standalone task is kind of a task which does not have any parent, which does not have any child. So simple task, single task is called as a standalone task. Remember one thing, in Snowflake, it is not possible that in Snowflake, it is not possible that one task, let's say for an example, task B is actually parent is task A. That means task B is dependent on A. Now, it is not possible that task B is dependent on any other task. So that means one child cannot have multiple parents. So that type of features are not available in Snowflake. Okay. Till now, it is not available. If in future, if they introduce, so that is different case. But till now, it is not available. So one child cannot have multiple parent. One child will be having only one parent. One parent can have multiple child. That's not an issue. But one child cannot have multiple parent. Okay. So that is how it works. Anyways, so now this is what the task. Now, simple thing you have to remember, the task is nothing but a event. A task is an event that will be executed at a specific time, and that specific time basically nothing but like any type of, there are a couple of scheduling option is there. I'll show you. So in at that specific schedule, the task will be executed, and whatever we have written inside the task, like either that is SQL statement or that is procedure, that will be executed through the task in at that specific time. So that is how basically the task will be executed. Okay. So task is kind of scheduling activity in Snowflake. Like it will be working like that way. So if you have scheduled at a specific time, at that specific time only the task will be fired, and whatever you have written inside the task that will be calling and that will be executed simultaneously. Okay. So today we will see the SQL statement execution. In coming classes also we have some other example of the task. I'll show you how to use the task with stream, how to use the task to implement the incremental data loading and all. So that will show you later. But today we'll see the basic example of the task scheduling and the procedure. I will show you whenever I'll complete the procedure class. Okay. So as of now, I'll just show you SQL statement. So procedure calling will show you in the procedure class. Okay. So till now the procedure, how basically we call the procedure, that I can show, but basically it will be covered in the procedure class. Okay. So let's go to the practical. So how basically we will be working on the task. So first, what I'll do, remember one thing. Task creation privilege, basically we have the privilege to create the task basically with the account admin, with the sysadmin also having the privilege to create the task and all. But sysadmin and any other role does not have the task execution privilege. So account admin by default is having the task creation privilege, task execution privilege, everything account admin can do. But what I will do today, I will create a separate role, and by using that role, I will be doing all the task related activity, so that you will be able to understand how a new role will be created, and we will be providing the task creation privilege to that role. And by using that role, we will be working on the basically task related activities today. Okay. So for an example, let's say I'm creating one role called create or replace role task underscore admin. So by using the role task underscore admin, we will be performing all the task related activity. Okay. So let's say create or replace role task underscore admin. I'm executing this. So the role has been created. Now what I will do, I will grant this task admin role to my user ID. So while logging to this account, I entered the user ID called Snowflake admin. Okay. While logging to this account, I have provided the basically the user ID to Snowflake admin, and I'm assigning this task admin role to my user ID, so that this task admin role will be available in this list of the role which I have to this account. Okay. So grant role task admin to user Snowflake ADM. So let me provide this privilege. Done. I'll refresh this account. And if you see here, you can see task underscore admin has been listed down here. Now, whenever task underscore admin has been listed down here, after that, I can basically I will be working on the task by using that role only. Before that, I will do some setup also, because some of the privileges we need to provide that new role, so that that can be working in the task. First of all, I will be creating one database called test underscore task. So let's create a database. Okay. And after that, what I will do, I will basically uh, provide this database access and the schema access to this task admin role, because this database has been created by account admin, and because task admin does not have the database creation privilege right now. So that's the reason this database I created by using the account admin. Now after that, I'm providing this database privilege and the schema privilege to the task underscore admin, and also we are providing the create table privilege also. So three privileges we are providing. One is basically database usage privilege, test task database usage privilege, then the schema usage privilege, and after that create table privilege we are providing. So let's execute. These are all the privilege we provided. Let me refresh here. So this is the test task database is there. After that, what I need to do is basically, let me come down, and we have to provide couple of more basically privileges. One is create task privilege, because now if I go here to the task admin role, okay, and if I try to create a task, so let's say I'm trying to create a task, you can see it will be providing you insufficient privileges, because you cannot create the task by using the task admin right now. So what you have to do is basically you have to go to the account admin, and first you have to provide the create task privilege, and then you have to provide the execute task privilege. So these two privilege you have to be provided by to the role which will be working on the task. By default, account admin, only the account admin is having these two privilege. No other roles are having these privileges. So if you want, sysadmin is having the sysadmin is having the create task privilege, but grant execute task privilege is only with the account admin. So basically what you have to do, you have to provide this privilege to other, like that role also by which you want to work on the task. So that's the reason first I'm providing the create task privilege to the task admin, then we are providing execute task privilege to the task admin, and then we are providing warehouse privilege w2 also to the task admin. So all these privilege you have to provide whenever you create a new role and you want to perform some operation by using that role, then related to that operation whatever privileges are there, that you have to definitely provide, otherwise you won't be able to work on the that particular thing by using that particular role. Okay, so now if you go to the task admin role, now you will be able to work on the basically the task related activities by using this role. So I moved this role. So this role is w2 warehouse has been granted to this role, so that role has been also provided, that means warehouse has been provided. Now we will see how basically we can create the task. So first of all we will see some examples so we can understand how basically the task works. So this is the task creation statement. Okay, so let's say create or replace task name. So any name you can mention, whatever you are doing inside the task that related to name you can mention here. Warehouse is equal to compute underscore wh. So basically the task will be executed at the background, that means anonymously. It is the event where manual intervention is not there. Like whenever the task will schedule, I cannot mention the warehouse name at that time because it will be automatically runs. And whatever warehouse name I will mention here while running the task, it will use that particular warehouse from your account. So for an example, let's say here warehouse is equal to, you have to mention a name here. So let's say for an example, you can mention here W2 like that. You can mention W2 because W2 warehouse is also only there with this role. So you can mention that warehouse name. After that, you have to mention the schedule at what time the task will execute. What does it mean that 5 minutes? So basically, there are three type of schedule is there. I will show you. Uh, this is one type of scheduling. So here you can mention the figure in minute. What does it mean? It means, let's say here you can mention the figure in 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute, like that. Okay, you can mention the figure in minute. Okay, like basically you can start with 1 minute, you can 2 minute, 3 minute. So basically what does it mean? It means the task will be executed in every 1 minute. So let's say 9 o'clock, 9:01, 9:02, 9:03, 9:04, like that. Or if you have mentioned the 5 minute means you have 9 o'clock, then 9:05, then 9:10, then 9:15, then 9:20, like that. You have to write the figure in minutes. So you can write here 120 minutes, 60 minutes. So if you want to execute the task in every basically one day, sorry, every 1 hour, so you can write here 60 minutes. If you want to execute the task in every 2 hour, you can mention here 120 minutes, like that. So but whatever figure you have to write, that you have to write in a minute, so that you have to understand here. Okay, and after that we have as, and then we will be writing the SQL statement. Okay, so whatever SQL statement you want to execute, that we will be writing here. So whenever this task will fire in every 5 minutes, it will be using this virtual warehouse to execute this SQL statement. Now here it is create table statement. So maybe your W2 virtual warehouse does not need it, but let's say you are running here insert, update, delete, that type of statement you are running whenever, whatever you are writing here is data, that is data related activity. Or let's say you are writing here copy statement to load your data. So in those cases this virtual warehouse is needed and it will be executing it will be using while this task will be fired. Okay, so this is what the task, and you can create the task right now. If we execute this task creation, it will be created, because right now this task admin role is having the sufficient privilege to create the task. Okay, so this is the way we create the task. This is the statement that we write while creating the task. And whenever this is the actually basically the SQL statement, how basically the SQL statement we execute through the task. Now instead of SQL statement, if you want to write the, if you want to call the procedure, you can call like this way, call, then you have to write here procedure name, let's say prox name, you have to mention here. And this is how basically this will be executed. Let's say you have created a new procedure called prox underscore nm, and that procedure you have to call like this way. So this is the way basically you can call a procedure, either a SQL statement, or you can call an entire procedure like this way. Okay, so we'll see this example later. Now I will be creating one tree shaped task. So basically tree type of task, so that you can understand how basically an entire tree will be established here, and how one by one the task will be executed. So that is the reason. So first of all, what I'm doing, I'm creating one table, creating one task like create or replace task name, warehouse is equal to W2. And here you can see another type of scheduling we are using. This is what we call cron expression. So this is the another type of scheduling that we can using in the task. Okay, so total two type of schedule. I can say three, but if you are writing schedule means that will be two type of schedule. So total two type of schedule will be executed. One second. Huh? Okay. So total so another scheduling option is the cron expression. What is this cron expression? Cron expression is nothing but it will take total 5 parameter. Okay. So for an example, if you go here, you can see this is the, I will make it big so you will be able to understand. So you can see here, uh, there are total five parameter. There are total 5 parameter will be taken by the scheduling option. Okay, total 5 parameter it will take. So first left hand side, it is the basically minute parameter, then it is having hour parameter, then it is having the day of the month parameter, then it is having the month parameter, then it is having the day of the week parameter. Okay, now what does it mean actually? So the minute parameter actually, the minute parameter will be giving you the basically 0 to 59 is the valid value. In the minute section, 0 to 59 is the valid value. Okay, that means you can take this value as a minute parameter. In the hour section, 0 to 23 is the valid value. You can take 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. 0 means 12 a.m., 23 means 11 p.m. like that. Day of the month parameter means 1 to 31 is the valid value, or L means last day of the month. Similarly, month parameter is the 1 to 12 is the valid value, or Jan to December is the valid value in the month parameter. Day of the week parameter means 0 to 6 is the valid value. 0 means Sunday, 6 means Saturday, or L means last day of the week. Okay. So basically, this is the 5 parameter. This is the 5 parameter it will take. Okay. Now by using this 5 parameter, you have to schedule your task. Okay, now I'll tell you how basically it will be scheduled. Let's see, let's see this example. This example tells you about the basically how basically it has been scheduled. So for an example, let's say if I mention, and on another thing you have to tell you, if any parameter, if I mention star, that will treat it as a every. If I mention in the minute section star means that is every minute. If I mention in the hour section star means that is every hour, like that. If I mention all as a star means that will be treated as a every minute. So like that. So not all, like if you mention here, let's say in the hour section you written 2, and in the minute section you written star, that means 2 o'clock. That means from 2 o'clock every 1 minute the task will execute, like 2 1 2 2 2 3 2 4 2 5 2 6, like that. So this star means that is every. Okay. Next example, you can see in the minute section I have given 0, in the hour section I have given 2. What does it mean? It means 2 a.m. 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock means 2 a.m. Month parameter, sorry, day parameter, month parameter, and these are all basically star means that means every month, every day. The simple word you can say every day at 2 a.m. the task will execute with this time zone. Let's say in the minute section you have given 0, in the hour section you have given 5,17. What does it mean? It means in the, what does it mean? It means 5 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the evening this task will execute. Remember, if you want to provide any multiple value for any parameter, that you can provide comma separated. Let's say in the hour section I have given 2 value, 5,17. What does it mean? It means morning 5 o'clock and evening 5 o'clock the task will be executed. Okay, morning 5 o'clock and evening 5 o'clock this task will be executed. Okay, every day. These are all every day. Okay, now let's say 2:30. 2:30 last day of the month, because third parameter is the day of the month. So last day of the month, which month? 6. 6 means June. June month, any weekday, June month, last day of the month, this task will be executed at 2:30 a.m. That is how it works. Okay. Now by using this scheduling method, we will be scheduling our task. Just a minute, guys. Huh? Just a minute. Okay, so now what I will do, I will execute by using these tasks. So basically what I will do, let me go to the practical and see how it works. So for an example, let's say I will write here create or replace task name warehouse w2, and here I will mention the time. So for an example, what is the time right now? I will check. Okay, first of all, what is the basically my right now which time zone we are in? That means what time zone has been basically Snowflake has set up, so that I can check by using the show parameters like zone. So you can see time zone is nothing but America Los Angeles time zone. Okay, so this time zone is getting followed. Now if you want to change, you can write here alter session set time zone is equal to UTC or any other time zone if you want to change, so that you can change with this session level. But as of now, by whatever by default time zone is set it up for this account, so that is basically America Los Angeles. Now what I will do, I will check my what is my current timestamp. For an example, my current timestamp is this one, 1732, and it is 28 to 2024. So it is a 28 February and 1732 is the evening 1732. This is the current timestamp it is showing for this account. Okay, with this time zone it is showing that 1732 is the time. Okay, Now, according to that, I will be scheduling my tasks. So first, what I'll do, I will create or replace task name, warehouse W2, schedule is equal to using cron. Now, minute is the 32. I will take some, let's say 30 to 40. Let me do it into 40. I need some time to explain. So let's say 40. Or 40, or maybe let's take it more time as in, let's say 45. I'm taking it as a 45. Okay, I need some time to explain, so I'm taking it as a 45, and here I'm making it, let's say 1745. Right now 1732 is there, so 1745 the task will execute. And what is the today's date? Today's date is 28. 28 is the today's date. So every month, I did not mention the month here, that means every month on 28 at 1745 with this time zone. So basically the task will be executed. Okay, and whenever the task will execute, basically it will be executing this SQL statement. And by using this task, actually we are creating one table called call center simply. Okay, now simple example we will see today. Later we will see how basically the task will be using with the other features of Snowflake. So today we will understand how the flow pattern works. So basically first I am creating one task called create table. The warehouse will be utilized W2. Schedule will be basically at this time 1745. The task will be executed on 28th every month. Okay, on 28th every month this task will execute, and it will be, whenever it will execute, it will call the underlying SQL statement, and it will be creating the table here. Okay, so that's it. So let's create the task here. So I created the task. Now you can see in the test task database, if you go to the public schema, your task will be created inside here. You can see create task has been created. So you can see here one task has created. Now this is the root task. Root task will be scheduled as I told you. Now what I will do, I will create a child task of this task. So how to create a child task? Same statement. Create or replace task name. So by using this task, I will create a call center table. Now once this task is completed successfully, that means call center table has been created successfully, then this task will be fired. And how we will understand this is the child task of this task? Because here we have a after clause. So if you see any after clause in any task definition, you have to understand that task is actually a child task. Okay, so create or replace task name, warehouse is equal to W2 after create table. That means once the create table task is completed, this task will be started. So that means this task is insert record task is the child of create table task. Okay, now I am writing here as, then I am writing insert into call center. So by using this task, I am creating a table. By using this task, I am inserting some value into the table. Simple. So let's create the task. This is another type of schedule. This is nothing, this is not a schedule, I will say, but this is kind of preparing a relationship. Once this task will be executed completely, then this task will be scheduled and it will be started, because this task is the having this after clause, and in the whatever task name you have mentioned in the after clause, that task is the parent of this task. Okay, so let's create this task here. Done. Now I will be creating two more tasks. One is insert record C1, another one is insert record C2. Now in both the tasks, you can see the in the after clause we have written insert record. That means for this task also, this insert record task, that means this task is the parent. So that means this task is having two child. One is insert record C1, another one is insert record C2. One is insert record C1, another one is insert record C2. Okay. Just a minute, guys. Getting a call. Sorry, guys. Okay, so now, so as I told you, insert record task is having in the after class for both of the tasks. So that means this task is the parent of these two tasks. Okay, so let me create. So by using this task, actually it will be creating a call center backup table. By using this task, actually it will be creating another backup table with some reference or with some filter condition. This task, whenever this task will be fired, actually this table will be created. Whenever this task will fired, actually this table will be created. But and both will be fired once this task is completed successfully. So let's start. So let me complete. So now both of the task has been created. Now you can see here. So basically, if I refresh here, all the 4 tasks has been created here. Okay. Now once it is done, then basically what I can say here, uh, basically your create table, this task is the parent, that means root task. This task is having one child, that is called insert record task, this one. Similarly, insert record task is having two child, one is insert record C1, another one is insert record C2, these two. This is how the tree looks like here. Now another thing I will tell you, if I execute show task, if I execute show task here, some information that you have to understand. First of all, if you go on the right side, if you go on the right side for any task, you can see, first of all, let's say this one. This is the root task. Now this task is having one child, that is this one, and this task is having two child, that is this one, right? So let's start with root task. Now if you go on the right side, you can see here everything will be mentioned. The schedule part also it is mentioned here. In the predecessor column, it will be null because predecessor column actually contains the root task name or parent task name. Basically predecessor column is containing the root task name or maybe the parent task name. Okay. So now because create table task, the first task, this one, create table task is doesn't have any parent. Why? Because this one itself the root task. It's the first node of the basically task. That's the reason in the predecessor it is coming as a null. If you go on the next one, that means this is the insert record task. For insert record task, create table task is the parent task. That's the reason here the create table task name has been mentioned. If you go in down section in these two cases, this is the insert record C1 and insert record C2. And for these two tasks, basically the insert record is the parent task. And that's the reason for these two tasks, this insert record task name has been mentioned. Another thing you have to see here, all the task is in suspended mode. Whenever we create a task, basically by default, all the tasks will be in a suspended mode. You created the task, that doesn't mean that that will be executed as per the given time. Why it will not execute? Because they are in suspended mode. This is the features of Snowflake. Like whenever we create a task, the task will be in a suspended mode, and whenever the task is in suspended mode, it will not execute. It will not execute. Now if you can see, we have total 4 tasks, but if you go and check, if you go and check, one function is there that is called task underscore history. So whatever task will be scheduled, that you can check from here. So if you execute it, you can see no task name has been mentioned. Why? Because no task is resume state. So now what you have to do, you have to resume your task. To resume the task, there is a rule. What is the rule? You cannot start resuming the task from the root level. You have to start resuming the task from the child level. First, you have to resume the lower bottom of the task. Then you have to go one step ahead. Then you have to go one step ahead, like that. So first you have to resume your bottom level task, then the next level task, then the final level task, like that. So if you are doing manually, you have to take care of this. Alter task, task name, resume, alter task, task name, resume, like that you have to run through manually. If you resume the root task first and then if you try to resume this one, it will not allow you to resume. So that's the reason first you have to start from the bottom level, then you have to go one step up, then you have to go one step up, like that. But if you don't want to do manually, then simply you can use a function name called system$task dependence enable. System$task dependence enable. By using this function, what you can do, you can mention the create table. That means you can mention the root task name here. And if you execute this statement, then what will happen? Under this root task, whatever tasks are allowed, whatever tasks are basically available, all will be started at the same time. You can see now all are started. Now it's almost 44. So what I will do, I will go to the basically task history function, and now if I check, you can see your one task will be scheduled. And what is that task? That task is the create table task. That means your root task. So now your root task got scheduled. Okay, your root task got scheduled. If you execute it again, your root task got scheduled. If you go on the right side, you can see that state is scheduled. Your first task has been scheduled. Now 45 almost done. So now I will execute this. I will execute this one. Now you can see your second task has been, this one is succeeded. Now next this one is scheduled. Now again if I execute, now you can see this one is succeeded, this one is succeeded, next two is scheduled. Now after that again if I execute, then all will be succeeded. Like that your task execution happens. So first of all, create task, create table. This is the root task. This has been scheduled. Once this is completed successfully, then the next one got scheduled. And once this is completed successfully, because insert record is the child of create table, so once create table is completed successfully, then insert record task has been started. Once the insert record task has been completed successfully, then these two tasks has been scheduled and they started. And they completed successfully and all are showing as a succeeded. If you go on the right side, you can see next schedule time also updated for the root task only, not for the all. Root task on 28 3rd, that means on 28 March at the same time 17:45 this task will be executed. And once this will be completed, then the next will start, then the next will start, then the next will start, like that it will happen. So basically this is how your entire task processes. And now if you check here, you can see inside the table, all the tables has been created. This is the call center table. First, by using the create table task, this call center table has been created. By using this create table task, the call center table got created. By using insert record task, the call center table gets some value. This means this 54 record got inserted. By using this task, this table has been created, which is having the exactly copy of the call center table. So 54 records are there. By using this task, this table has been created, but it is having some filter condition. So that's the reason we just had the lower number of the record inside the table. So by this way, the fourth task has been executed, and by this way, the task executes. Now, if you want to basically execute an entire procedure, so instead of this statement, you just have to write here call, and you have to write the name of that procedure. So it will be calling that particular procedure, and whatever logic you have implemented inside the procedure, that will be executed by using that task. Okay. So this is how basically your task executes. Clear? Any doubt, any question? Okay, all good. Fine. I'll share this code and share this thing, and you can read the things in the PPT also. I already shared. So here we have written some theoretical part. So this is the tree shape task. Here we have written some important points, and this is the cron expression. So you can read from here, and you can go through the recordings, and we can practice. I will share the code as well. Okay. Fine. No more question. Good. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
The meeting has ended. Thank you for joining. Goodbye.